Pet Life Radio.
This is Pet Life Radio. Let's talk pets.
Hi, welcome to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm your host, Liz Palika, and with me tonight, as always, are my good friends Petra Burton.
Hello.
And Kate Abbott.
Howdy.
And this is our most recent house training podcast, part 2. If you look at our just released podcast, the one before this one, we revisited house training.
That's almost a pun, you know. Just released.
Sorry.
Only
you
would go there.
Only you, yes.
Only I would go there?
And
You're so sorry. Okay. Anyway, serious business.
this is what I have to deal with.
Serious business.
We just recorded a podcast on house training, which we have talked about in previous podcasts, but we've had a lot of questions on house training, both from our training students and emails from podcast listeners. So we talked about what house training is, crate training, going outside with your dog, all the other basics on house training. This podcast, what we're going to do is talk about some of the things that affect your dog's ability to be house trained, or things that could upset his house training skills, and ways that you can help him. For example, health issues, living in a condo or an apartment in a big city. Weather, doggy doors. So there's a lot of things that can make house training more difficult. So we're going to talk about those this time. And first of all, let's talk about doggy doors. I do have a doggy door.
Wait. You know what happens.
What?
Oh, I don't have to house train my puppy. I put in a doggy door.
Oh, yes.
Yes. And that's why I'm admitting right off the bat, I do have a doggy door. My doggy door goes out to a fenced enclosed area, not to the free backyard, but it does go to an area where they can relieve themselves. But I don't train the puppy with that. All of my dogs need to be able to tell me when they need to go outside.
Exactly.
And I want to go outside with them and praise and reward them for going.
Make sure they're going.
Make sure they're going, and that they're going to the spot where I prefer them to go, in the backyard. But the biggest thing is I want them to be able to tell me, I gotta go.
Exactly.
And you can't do that with a doggy door.
Of the hundreds of people that have said, oh, I don't have to worry, I put up a doggy door, and I've asked, how's that working for you? I've only had a couple say that it worked great. And in my mind, they just haven't found where the puppy's going inside yet.
True.
Well, and all the other options. I don't have a doggy door in the RV.
Right. Yeah.
If we're traveling and we stay in a hotel or motel, there's no doggy door. I want my dogs to be able to control themselves inside, tell me they need to go outside or need to relieve themselves. And then when they're well trained and mature, then they can have access to the doggy door. So for example, Hero's my youngest, he's 2. I had a baby gate up so that he did not have access to the doggy door until he was at least a year old. Yeah. And when I couldn't watch him, he was in a crate or in a safe place outside. I went outside with him every single trip outside, praised and rewarded him, brought him back inside. When he was about a year old, I let him follow Bones in and out the doggy door. He went, cool! This is the most fun ever! And now, for example, one day a week I'm taking a class all morning. They can go in and out, relieve themselves out in this enclosed area, like a dog run, and come back in. But he didn't have that access when he was a puppy. Not only would it have ruined his house training, but he'd be chewing on things and raiding trash cans and chasing the cats and all those other fun things. Now he's never learned that. He doesn't do that. He's never had a chance to learn those bad habits. And he's very reliable.
And there's that little extra thing, too, that bladder control is a muscle.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that muscle must be worked.
Right.
Yes.
So learning to hold, it's not just learning, it's also doing your exercises to make
Yes.
that muscle stronger.
Yes. I find that the doggy door is from my bedroom. And so at night, if I have the baby gate up or the door closed, they rarely go outside. I could hear when they go out the doggy door. They rarely, once they settle down for the night, they rarely ever go outside. If I hear the doggy door, the dogs are usually in the bed with me, and it's one of the cats going out to the catio. The cats will go in and out, and in and out, and in and out. The dogs rarely do. But when Hero first had access to it, he went out a lot. It was the novelty of it. Oh, look, I can do this.
It's not surprising. It's fun.
Yeah, it was fun. I could go outside. And there were a few times in hot weather where he went out there to sleep.
Oh, wow.
There's a plastic garden bench out there, the kind with the storage underneath it. Mm-hmm. And I would hear him go out and thump up onto the plastic bench, and then he wouldn't come back in for a little while.
Cooler.
Which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. It's a safe spot.
Right.
It's got a floor and it's got a top, and it's very safe. So that was absolutely fine.
Yep. But a doggy door does not, as you've proven, does not take away the responsibility of teaching house training.
Right.
Especially, you hear it all the time. I have a doggy door, but he still comes in and goes potty.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So how's it working for you on that doggy door? Yeah.
Exactly. Close it. I don't have a doggy door from the inside in my house, but I have one from the garage to the backyard.
Mm-hmm.
But in the house, no. And when they need to go to outside, they can go to the door and do their little yelp and whiny noise, whatever, and tells me.
Yours to the garage, though, is almost a different situation because that's to provide them shelter.
Yeah, more
from
shelter.
bad weather.
Exactly.
They've got the beds in there, a little. It's not the whole garage,
No,
but it's a little enclosed section.
Right. The dog run in the garage.
Like my enclosed section outside.
Yeah, mine's reversed.
It's reversed, and they've got water and some dog beds, and so inclement weather, whether raining and storming or too hot,
Right.
they can come in for shelter.
Exactly. Yeah. But since I have indoor cats and I'm out where I'm at, I don't
No,
have
too,
dog doors because
too dangerous.
I don't want the cats out, but then I don't want critters coming in.
Yeah.
So no dog door.
Yeah. Once they know, then it's additional freedom, as
Oh,
you
yeah.
reveled in.
Yes,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Or functionality if you have to be away too long, but it's not the way to house train puppies.
No.
All right, another thing that can affect house training skills is health issues. There's a lot of things that can cause an upset in both house training skills with urination or with defecation. One of the most common that we see with puppies is a UTI, a urinary tract infection. And often the puppy owners will come to class and say, puppy was doing pretty good, but now she's urinating a lot, and in the house too,
Or more often.
more often.
But little spots. Yeah, that type of thing.
And the
It's pretty
first
classic.
yeah.
and the first thing
Yeah.
we tell them is go talk to your vet, and don't just go to your vet and say she's got a house training problem. Tell your veterinarian exactly what's going on, and very often it is a UTI.
It's pretty common in young dogs. Not very good at keeping themselves clean, or
Or they're low squatters.
low spotters, especially the girls.
Exactly.
Well, and I had a couple in puppy class. They were an older couple, and they were like, she's lost her house training. Well, upon asking questions and so forth, she had one evening where she had diarrhea. It's like, she's been okay since then? Then that was a one-off. She can't...
Oh, just that one time? And
just the one time.
they took it as, oh.
It said she had an upset
That's
stomach,
what
something happened.
Yeah.
That's a one-time up. Let's not... If she's
Yeah.
gone back to a good schedule, don't worry about it.
Gastrointestinal upset is tough.
Yeah.
There's more than one person I know who's talked about making a mad dash to the bathroom.
Or the other, throwing up.
Yeah,
Just not making it. Yeah.
it's tough.
Yeah.
There's other diseases which are not as common in puppies, but if you have a newly adopted dog, or if you have a dog that's been in the household for a while and suddenly has some changes. Diabetes is one of those.
Diabetes, Cushing's.
Diabetes, Cushing's, Addison's, kidney disease in an older dog, those can all cause more urination.
And
or
it's
as they
that-
get older, just losing a little bit
They
of
might lose
bladder
a little muscle control.
Little muscle,
Their notice that they have to go, maybe when the tank is only half full,
Right.
but it's only 2 seconds notice
Mm-hmm.
before the brain goes, hey, gotta go. And they just don't get up as fast, maybe, if they're an older dog, etc. They're just, there are reasons.
Yeah.
Bowel disease, inflammatory bowel disease, or Crohn's, or similar diseases that the dog can get, can cause problems with defecation. Food allergies. Hero went through a little bout of some food intolerances to the point that I actually had allergy tests done. He did seem to outgrow most of it. I'm being very careful reintroducing some ingredients, but the veterinarian told me that he might, because this happened when he was younger, and he said if you're lucky he'll outgrow it. So I'm being very, very careful introducing new ingredients. But he had, I won't say he had diarrhea, but he had soft stools there for a while, and he had to get out a little more quickly.
Yeah.
He didn't have any accidents in the house, but he was a little more urgent to get outside. So, of course, whenever he told me, I made sure that he got out right away. That can cause some problems. Medications.
Oh, prednisone.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Makes everybody
one.
pee like a racehorse.
Yes. Yes.
Drink more water, pee more, and can make you a little cranky, too.
Some of the medications given as dewormers can cause some bowel issues. Let's just say bowel issues.
Flushers, yeah.
Yes. So if you see a change in urination or defecation with your dog, especially one that's had good habits, then talk to your veterinarian.
Sometimes it's obvious, but not. What am I saying? There's a group on Facebook for blind dog owners.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole idea that it can now screw up their house training. Just because they don't know how to get to where they used to be, or they don't know where you are to find you to tell you.
Or if they're used to make a noise at the door.
Right.
Finding the door. Sure.
Especially if they're a little older and they're a little depressed or on medications. There could be a lot of reasons. So, be kind. Look for other reasons, not just assume that they're spiked peeing.
Right. Adolescents. Teenagers. We have heard from a few owners who said the dog marked the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we have.
That's adolescence. Put that dog back in a crate for a while. That dog had a little... Your bed is the place that's the most personal thing associated with you. And I don't care how many times you change your sheets, it's still the most personal spot related to you and has all of your scent. So if a dog is going to have a little tough adolescence or push your buttons, sometimes that's where it's expressed. Just to say it nicely.
My mother had a poodle that would go on the pillow. Yeah. Yeah, she went for a lot of pillows.
So that just means that dog needs to go back to the crate for a while longer. All right, well, we need to take a break for our sponsors, so hold on. We've got a lot more to talk about when we get back.
Sit, stay. It's a doggy dog world. We'll be right back after a short pause. Well, 4 to be exact.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Listeners, I'd love to introduce you to PetPlate.com. They deliver freshly cooked human-grade dog food right to your door. I'm talking about dog food that is so high quality that even us humans could, technically, eat it. I've been feeding PetPlate to my pup for the last 2 weeks, and it's perfect for my picky pup, and perfect for me since I'm so busy. So if you want something super healthy, really tasty, and ready to serve, go to petplate.com/spot to get 30% off your first box. Once again, that's petplate.com/spot to get 30% off your first box. petplate.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com. We know you're begging for more. So back to It's a Doggy Dog World with your fetching hosts, Liz Palika, and this week's co-hosts, Kate Abbott and Petra Burke.
Welcome back to It's a Doggy Dog World. I'm Liz. With me today are Petra and Kate. All right, another issue that we've addressed a lot, I have with people responding to some of my writing, some of my articles online, podcast listeners contacting us, and training clients, is teaching the dog to relieve himself in the house. And there are a variety of different ways of doing so. There's litter boxes, there's potty pads, and I heard from a number of people who live in high-rises in the big city using the shower or the bathtub, which initially I was kind of shocked at, but when they explained it, it had some good reasons. So let's talk about litter boxes first, because you did a private training today with an owner who uses a litter box.
And I saw a new to me, and it is the rubber pan that you put underneath a water heater. And by putting it under the water heater, apparently you can, if the water heater leaks, you can prevent a flood in your home. So it had a nice, fairly low lip. I was thinking mostly
now
of
it's
puppies.
when you say rubber, is it flexible? Is it stiff?
It's in sort of industrial strength rubber. So it's, I imagine you could, if it was empty, fold it.
All right.
Not easily, but you could.
But, okay.
But the edges stood up nicely.
All right.
But not too high for even a baby puppy.
Okay.
And so I was very pleased to find out. I mean, this is a good-sized dog, but apparently since she started using it as a puppy, she will stay within the parameters. Parameters.
Okay. And they used pelleted wood shavings?
Actually, they looked like just wood shavings, but it was a pretty big bag, and it said something about for critters on the side.
I would have thought that would track. See, I've heard of people using pelleted wood shavings.
Well, and now they even have dog litter box material,
which is usually pelleted, but to cut down on the tracking.
Yeah.
I've heard of a lot of people using like mortar pans.
Mortar pans. What you would mix up.
Mortar in from the hardware store. Because those are pretty good size, and even a mid to large size dog could use that. A giant sized dog probably not.
No, and then the small ones might have a hard time getting into it.
That was going to be my next point, is those have much higher size.
I think that's what really attracted me to this one, was just enough of a side to hold stuff in. I thought it was cool. That's the first time I'd ever seen that, and I was like, thank you, you taught me something new today.
And teaching the dog to use a litter box wouldn't be difficult. You would basically use the same technique that you do to take the dog outside, except you're going to continue to take him to this object.
Right.
I would not move it around a lot. Right. I would put it in one spot and pretty much keep it there so the dog knows where to go to find it. And then, of course, reward the dog when he's gone.
Just like if you take him outside. Do not use cat litter.
Oh, no. Especially clumping cat litter.
Yeah. It's often attractive to the dogs to chew on it, munch on it, and you don't want that in their intestines.
No. Clumping cat litter especially is very, very dangerous. But use the pelleted or use the litter that's made expressly for dog litter boxes. Next would be potty pads. And Petra, you use those with your Pomeranians when you're at work.
Yeah. Luckily, I have a nice big bathroom. So,
actually, everyone should be envious. She has a very nice big bathroom.
Spa quality.
It needs updating, but yeah, it's roomy. So luckily, yes, I can leave the potty pads down there. Just because they're little, and I live out in the rural area, they can be grabbed up by any bird of prey. And besides,
and coyotes going, come here, puppy, puppy,
Yeah,
puppy.
right,
You're
exactly.
a munchie.
Yeah. So it's safer. And then I do have a baby gate on my bathroom. So when I'm gone for the day,
and they have beds in there too.
They have beds in there. So yeah, it's roomy enough for I had
It's a
3
giant
palms,
crate.
but 2 palms.
It's a big kennel for Pomeranians.
So they have their sleeping quarters, they have their water dish in there, they have their toilet corner there, and it works out good. And even, I leave them down, because luckily it's room enough, I do leave them down all the time. And if I don't catch them and, they do not give me a signal, go outside or whatever, they'll just run and dash there and use it. So it's nice to have, especially with little tiny dogs. And I could see it easily being used in apartments and condos.
Yes. As far as using potty pads for a puppy that's destined to go potty outside, I do see their use, but I have a few reservations. We have had some people have a difficult time transitioning the puppy from the potty pad to outside. And if you're having that issue, take a soiled potty pad outside to the spot where you want the dog to go and use that. And gradually make the pad smaller and smaller and smaller.
And I know that newspapers being delivered to the home is kind of going the way of the milkman, but I really don't suggest using newspapers, because then when you do want to spread the paper out and read it,
or use it under a craft or something. Yes.
Yep. Or
yes.
Not even just other important papers that could trigger.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just
yes.
Better not to go there.
Oh. So the potty pads can have a use for any puppy, but just think about how you're going to transition to the outside if that's your ultimate goal. Now, the shower or the bathtub. The way that I found out about this was I had an editor ask me to write an article on dog ownership in the big city. So I love social media for instances like these. I put out on social media, any of you living in the big cities, and I specifically mentioned New York City, Chicago, and LA, but I heard from people in other big cities. How do you handle house training when you live in a big city, especially if you live in a high-rise? And it was amazing. I heard from a lot of people, and one of the that some of them use litter boxes, some of them use potty pads, some of them worked at home and were able to take the dog out whenever the dog needed to go. But I heard from a lot of people who taught the dog to relieve himself in the walk-in shower or the bathtub. And initially I was a little grossed out. A Californian who could just walk out the door and take my dog to go potty. I was a little shocked. But the reasoning was very good. First thing in the morning, your dog has got to go as soon as you get up. If you live on, one lady who contacted me lived on the 34th floor.
Whoa.
She says, everybody's going to work. I always have to wait for the elevator. If my dog's bouncing around saying, I gotta go, I gotta go, I gotta go, I don't want him to relieve himself in the hallway.
Right.
I don't want him to relieve himself in the elevator. So, first trip goes to the shower. And she said, the shower's made to be cleaned.
Yeah, because you could just bleach it and
She
rinse
said,
it and down the dirty
exactly.
clothes.
Spray bottle with some bleach in it.
Yeah.
Exactly. She says it's right there on the shelf in the shower, marked bleach for the dog. Dog goes, squirt, 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 or pick up what needs to be picked up. Got the handle of the shower, bring it down, wash it off, and it's clean. And I was like, whoa, yeah,
Great idea.
why not?
Yeah.
And when the dog knows to go there on his own, she said, other people have said, if I don't make it home at lunch, I don't have to panic and worry about my carpets because the dog just goes to the bathroom, to the shower. If we're working late, we don't have to panic because the dog's going to go to the shower. Or even the bathtub. Several said the dog, larger dogs, not a little bitty toy dog, will jump in the bathtub. But most of them use a walk-in shower.
Oh, do they have to put a plastic mat in the bathtub? So that
In
when
the-
they jump in and they don't slip.
In the bathtub, I would assume so. Either that or the stickum things.
Oh, the stick 'em thing.
Yeah, one of the two. I actually didn't ask them about that, but I would assume in the tub they would need something non-stick. But the
Just
walk-in...
for the landing, if nothing else. Right?
But the walk-in shower, most people said the dog used the walk-in shower. Now, a few of the people that I talked to that had little bitty toy breed dogs, the dogs rarely went for walks. Everything happened in the shower. And I'm not a big fan of that. I think we all need to get outside. But I can also see if you live in a rough climate, maybe the dog wouldn't go out in the blizzards. But most people said that the dog still got regular walks, at least morning and evening. Although the first relief session might be in the shower, so to save the elevator. But they did get regular walks. Multiple people still said that they walked morning, noon, and night. But any other time the dog had to go, he would use the shower. And I think that's awesome. It was something that I certainly hadn't thought about. Of course, I don't live in a big city, and I don't live on the 34th floor of a high-rise. But it certainly makes sense.
Yeah.
And again, you teach the dog the same way. It might be a little tough to get him to go that first time, but if you have a puppy, they are attracted to potty pads. I don't want to know what they put in the potty pad to make them go there. It's like cat litter draws a cat. You could put potty pads in the shower to start with, take the puppy there, reward him for going there. If you have a newly adopted dog or an adult dog and you want to transition him to this, that could be a little confusing in the beginning. I would probably go outside with him. When he goes outside, get a paper towel in the urine, put it in a Ziploc bag, take it home and put it in the shower, and try to cue him that way. Once you get him to go, then it would be a little bit easier.
The other part I'm thinking is dogs that are worried about the shower or the bathtub because of baths. It's a bad place. I don't want to go in there. That you'd have to also think about how the dog acts about bathtubs and showers.
Make it fun by smearing peanut butter everywhere.
Yeah.
There you go.
But it's bath time.
Yep. So there's a variety of options. I was just a little astounded how many people are already doing this. And like I say, it's probably because that wasn't in my sphere of paying attention.
I could see living in New York. That would be a really great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Great idea.
So all of our listeners that are anyway involved in building apartments, put walk-in showers in them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or condos.
Yes. Yes.
It'll be a selling point.
They are much more common now in new houses than tub showers.
Yeah.
I think people like them better. I love my walk-in shower. All right, moving on. The next thing that we heard from a lot of people that affects house training skills, and again, those of us living in San Diego are very spoiled, and that's weather. And we go, what's weather?
Weather.
What is it?
One winter on Facebook, there must have been 24 people discussing the best way to dig a walkway trench to a bathroom area for your dog. And is the
through
trench
the snow.
itself through the snow. Is the trench itself the bathroom? Do you open it up to a wider area? Where should that wider area be?
That's funny that you talk about it. 'Cause my sister...
Dig it to a tree?
My sister lives in Montana, so she gets the lots of snow.
And she has little dogs.
And she has little Chihuahua or Chihuahua mixes. And I laugh. She'll always send me a picture where she has dug a trench, I should say, or pathway to a bigger area where she's cleaned. And we're talking the snow is, a foot to a couple feet. It's pretty tall. There's a little Chihuahua in it. But there's his potty area, and they'll run out there and do their business real quick. Then they need some exercise. So she will then trench like a track around in her backyard. And she has videoed her dog just, hey, go run! And they run the track. There's
little ups and downs and hills and valleys.
Yeah, right through the snow. She digs it out, and it literally is all snow. And here you see a little racetrack, and the dogs just run and play and jump
until their feet get cold, and then they come inside.
But then she has little what do you call it? Like a pit, like a pit stop.
Yeah.
So here off to the side, there's a potty area, and then there's the rest of the track. The dogs are running in the snow. So yes, I think that us spoiled Californians, I thought I got a hoot out of that. I loved it.
Absolutely.
Isn't that awesome?
And then there's
You can be
cold.
so creative.
There's bitter cold.
Yeah.
And the dog's paws.
Yeah. Boots.
You teach him to wear dog boots. If you're going to take him outside and it's so cold, I heard from people in Chicago,
Yeah.
it's so cold that the risk freezing his paws that your dog doesn't want to go outside.
Sure.
Then he's either going to hold it, he's going to refuse to go outside, or when you kick him out, he's going to be clamoring to come back in because it's too cold.
And if you take them out for a walk, then you've got the problem with the salted streets.
Yeah, or the
anything
chemicals
else that they put
right.
on them.
Right. Yeah.
So teaching him where to wear boots, or that's a good reason to teach some of those dogs to go potty in the shower, or in the litter box, or on potty pads.
Yeah.
Backup plan.
Yeah. Now, one thing that we face weather-wise is the hot temperatures. And I've got a laser thermometer, and a couple years ago I went out when we had a hot streak and jotted down the temperature of dirt and grass and concrete and asphalt after measuring the air temperature. And it was amazing how hot, even grass gets hot.
Yeah.
Grass isn't hot enough to burn their paws, but dirt certainly was, concrete was, and asphalt was like
Definitely. Yeah.
30 to 40 degrees hotter than the air temperature. A lot of publicity the last several years on if it's too hot for you to put the palm of your hand on the concrete or the asphalt, it's too hot for your dog's paws. And that is really true. You don't need a laser thermometer. I did it because of my curiosity. But put your hand on that asphalt. Can you hold it there? If you can't hold your hand on that asphalt, then it's way too hot for your dog's paws.
You can't take your shoes off and walk barefoot.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So weather can cause a dog to not want to go outside. You may have, if you have, well, let's use yours as an example, Kate.
Uh-oh.
Quill is very sensitive
Oh,
to
my
temperature.
Lord, is he ever.
Oh my gosh! Last night, just because it got a little foggy, he started to get cold.
It was like, oh no, let me go
Gosh.
inside now. Yeah, anything below 78 is uncomfortable for him.
And anything over 82.
Well, that's true too.
He has a very narrow window of comfort.
Uh huh.
And he has ways of letting me know.
He looks
He
pitiful.
looks pitiful. Yeah.
My
Yeah,
boy,
so he does.
my boys go out and go, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Quill the Jack Russell Terrier,
But no coat. He has no coat.
Oh,
and he's not particularly thrilled with dog boots either.
No, he'll wear them, but oh gosh, a couple weeks ago, I put him in a new jacket.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, he was a statue for a while. So I just-
She mistreats him horribly.
after I beat him and put
He
the
does not
jacket
like
on him and
clothes.
then beat him again, and then just walked away, then he will walk, but it's full of disgust for the whole thing. And he has worn boots.
Yes.
And he will
Yes,
get
he
used to
has.
that.
Yes.
Well, when we were camping in the upper desert in Arizona with all those horrible thorns and burrs, he did wear his boots. He was very willing to let you put the boots on.
Yeah, because those things were going through my shoes.
Yes, they were going through the bottom of the running shoes.
The only other issue with is it's a once in a blue moon, but a dog that was going where they were supposed to go when something happens.
Yes.
Here we have Camp Pendleton, so they may start shooting off
Booming.
guns. Or what was it? One dog. It was years ago. He was getting ready. He was in the middle of going when the neighbor took a sledgehammer to an old shed and just brought it down. Plump.
No.
The neighbor didn't intend to scare him,
Yeah.
Probably
The
couldn't
neighbor
even
didn't
see
know.
the dog.
Yeah.
but it was like, oh my God, I can't go outside.
Or I
Awful
can't go
things
to that
happen.
part of the yard.
He
Yeah.
didn't even want to go outside.
Oh.
He was
Oh,
that
goodness.
traumatized.
Oh goodness.
So,
Well, I can't laugh at that. Hero in adolescence has had moments when he's been very sensitive. And because his older brother, Bones, is exactly the opposite, is Mr. Bold Man himself, I have to stop and take a deep breath and not make fun of Hero because he's sensitive, but instead go, all right, what's the problem?
Right.
Thankfully, there hasn't been an issue with house training. knock on wood. But there have been other incidences where he's been frightened or startled. And he's not fearful, but just he thinks about stuff a lot. Oh my gosh, what was that? What happened? So in his instance, I would have to stop and think about it. What is
and
the
then
problem?
Do some
positive reinforcement, redirect him. Yeah. And he does snap out of it. He's fine. But
unfortunately, these people had waited 3 or 4 months before contacting me.
So it was an ingrained habit.
Oh, shoot.
Right.
It took more work. We did eventually get there with him, but it was a slow, careful process. And actually, we had to use some drugs to help.
Yeah.
Because he just started to panic.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
It was like, well, we can work on this slowly with or you can go buy a new house.
Move.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been, but that's a solution.
It is.
Because he would go at friends' houses. And
just not at their house anymore.
Not at their house anymore.
So the point of this podcast is just to let you know there can be a lot of things that can affect a dog's house training habits. There's a lot of alternatives other than the traditional take the dog to the backyard. So if nothing else, giving you some things to think about, especially if there is a house training problem or if you need to look at an alternative way to have your dog relieve himself. Keep in mind, too, that the podcast we just recorded before this one, it'll be on the list of podcasts on the website, was the basic house training skills. So if you need those, take a look at that podcast. All right? So I hope we've given you something to think about. And we'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Having a rough day? Longing for the dog days of summer? Think your fun furry friend lives a dog's life? Well, find out everything you're begging to know as Pet Life Radio presents It's a Doggy Dog World with pet expert and award-winning author Liz Palaika. Every dog has his day, and you'll find out how to make your dog's day fun and rewarding every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.